YouTube changed its UI again.
Yes, it did.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to TecSocial. My name is Holly Chisholm. For those of you that don't know me, I work for North Shore. So welcome. So we have Rebecca Dunphy here tonight. What's your official title? Founder, I guess?
I am president of all the legal things.
Okay. President of RampAge, and she's going to tell you how she got the idea and where she plans to go with it. So welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So hi, I'm Rebecca Dunphy. And so I'm working on a startup called RampAge, and it's still very much in the startup phase, so I don't have many things to say in terms of like business facts. So I'm going to just kind of talk about the idea. Oh my goodness. What is it called? I have it on a USB. That's useful. Yep, I do. Yeah, I've got everything here. RampAge origin story. Alright, origin story. So kind of the things that happened in my life that brought RampAge to where it is today. So I'm from Wakagama originally, and every summer I would go to a YMCA camp called Camp Adbury in Orangedale, and I was completely obsessed with camp. It was my favorite thing, and I always told myself that when I grew up, I was going to be a camp counselor at this camp. And then when it came time that I was actually old enough to work at camp, it had shut down and been replaced by an organization called Reachability. So Camp Reachability offered an inclusive camping experience for individuals with physical and cognitive disabilities from the age of 7 to 70. So anybody of any age could come to camp, enjoy a week of programming. What was really cool about Reachability was that there was no registration fee. So anybody could come and attend. And it was a great option. It would be some of the younger campers' first experience away from their family, or the older campers, this was their only 5 days away from the home. And so I was really honored to help to share this experience with them, and it taught me to be grateful for what was available because they were so happy to be there, and it kind of just rubbed off on me. So for years I worked there for 5 years, and then this is when I first started seeing how inaccessible buildings can be. So just around the corner from our camp down the road, there was a museum. And during my first year, we were going on a quick trip down to the museum just for a day trip. We were bringing campers along, and so we got to the space, and there were stairs. And so I went and knocked on the door, and I was with one of my campers that was in a wheelchair. And they said, okay, go around the back. The ramp's around there. So I went around the back of the building, and there's this rickety old wooden ramp that has a long path of really deep gravel to it. So it took a lot of energy of me pushing and pulling with her assistance to get up into the building. And once we're in, her experience was ruined. She was embarrassed, she felt ashamed, and nobody should feel that way when they're going into just a public building or something along those lines. And I've had many experiences similar to this, but this was the first time I really saw how inaccessible buildings could be. So it kind of sparked a passion for me. Now, something really different. After when I first started until secondary, I thought costume design was for me because I really liked to sew and I liked musicals. So I thought, yeah, this is it. I'm going to do this forever. But I only lasted 2 years of a 4-year program. And this is kind of the anecdote that I want to tell about why I left. So one day, I was in my 3rd year, first couple weeks, we were in a drafting class, and everybody was talking about pattern and getting super worked up about the size of a buttonhole. they were like almost screaming at each other about this buttonhole size. And I wasn't really speaking. I was just sitting in the corner, and all I was thinking was, how is this helping my community? What good is this doing? Is this buttonhole? And so I would find myself constantly thinking, what could I do with what I'm learning? And I would think like, oh, I'll make a clothing line for individuals with disabilities, or I can start an inclusive theater camp. I always thought camp was just a hobby and it wasn't actually a career path I could follow, or similar community programs weren't something that was realistic in my future. But that day I decided I was being a little ridiculous, and I left and went to NSCC and applied for their business administration program. So I started a business thinking like, oh, this would be quick 2 years, I'll get out, start my own camp. I never really thought business was for me. I thought it was stuffy and limiting in terms of creativity, but NSCC quickly changed my mind and exposed me to the good that business can do and the power it has to make real change. A large part of this was due to my involvement with the Enactus team. So Enactus is a student-run organization where you use entrepreneurial thinking to solve issues in your community or community issues worldwide. There are 66 teams in Canada, and it operates in over 36 countries worldwide. It's the largest student-run organization in the world. So they encourage students to start social enterprises. That's the model that they like to use. So a social enterprise is a business or organization operated for the purpose of addressing social, cultural, or environmental issues, with the majority of the profits being reinvested to support community issues. A quick way to describe this is that social enterprise fits in between community needs and customer wants. Nice little graphic. So when I was thinking about, well, what issues am I passionate about? What should I do in Enactus through social enterprise? And immediately that story of lugging the camper into the building popped back into mind. And that created RampAge. So RampAge is a social enterprise where we will manufacture portable accessibility ramps out of end-of-life tires, with the manufacturing taking place within the First Nation community to create employment opportunities. So just some stats that while I was looking into the feasibility of this business, I heard and it blew me away. So 3.8 million Canadians report having a disability related to mobility. And of course, the main issue I wanted to address was the inaccessibility of our buildings and creating equal opportunities, but we knew we could do more, so we decided to take a green approach. And we looked to tires. So at first, I was like, I'm going to use a whole car to make this ramp, but I realized that didn't make any sense, and I looked just to tires. Some stats are just, during the average life of a tire, only 20% of the rubber is actually used, so there's a lot of just bulk rubber available. And also, in the run of a year, there's an estimated 1 billion tires that reach the end of their useful life. So our ramps will be made of crumb rubber with an aluminum frame. So crumb rubber is what's left when you take all the other materials out of the tires, and that raw rubber you would see on turf fields or playgrounds or something along those lines. So that'll play the traction piece of the ramp, so that brown area, that black area you see. And then for stability reasons and stuff like that, there'll be an aluminum frame. There you go. So the ramp is made of 4 sections, and it can be broken, taken apart in half and unfolded again, so it's easily compact and transportable. Right now, we're working on a model that'll cover up to 3 steps. So this, like I said earlier, is very much just in the startup phase, where we're working with different models and talking with different groups for what would best suit their needs. These are just models I made my sister make for me around the idea, and we're moving forward with the research and development right now. So the final piece is that the manufacturing will take place within the First Nations community on Cape Breton Island. We've started conversations with Fegmacook and Wakaba, but nothing has been solidified because, like I said, still in the research phase. So we're not going to bring anything too serious to them yet. Another thing, the last thing I'm going to talk about is that last little piece on my journey, was that during school, I started working on this. So I'm still a student. And when you're a student, there are just a bajillion pitch competitions available to you. So I took part in a lot of these. It was really valuable. And during one of these pitch competitions, I met some folks from Common Good Solutions. So Common Good Solutions wants to see businesses impact their community in a positive way. And this was right up the alley of what I was working on, and I was very intrigued and wanted to learn more. So I kept chatting with these folks until they hired me. So Common Good Solutions offers consulting and training. They're the BiSocial certificator for Atlantic Canada, as well as an online learning platform called the Social Enterprise Institute. But what I was really interested in initially was their impact incubators. So this is a 5-year relationship between you and Common Good that gives you access to different mentors and coaches, as well as training and other opportunities that will help you develop your social enterprise. So, like, I actually got hired by the CGS at the school, which is amazing, and I just worked down the hall. But RampAge is also in the incubator, which has given me so many opportunities and access to other things that have been super valuable to its development. So right now, RampAge is in the research and development phase. Like I said, we've been working with engineers at Michelin to develop a model. They've been kind enough to volunteer their time. And also through the Tire and Rubber Association of Canada, they've connected me to Divert Nova Scotia, who have a variety of funding opportunities for research and development, as well as other programs once you're further along in your business. Just trying to get a model up and running, starting with a CAD model, and then from there we'll get a prototype. So that's what we're working on, and hopefully it all works out. The end. Anybody have any questions?
Any sense of how you're going to sell them or bring them to market?
Yeah, so right now I started working on it in Halifax, and I reached out to all the downtown business cores and stuff like that to get a sense of if they were interested. And then now an interesting development that happened recently is Inverness County, which is the county I'm from, so I'm very passionate, started an accessibility committee just a couple weeks ago. And so they're going to be kind of a trial run. Is Inverness businesses will purchase the ramps and them, and we'll kind of test and iterate from there. Yeah.
You say you're getting engineering help from Michelin. Are they doing just the rubber tire or are they structural?
They're both. So how I got connected to them was the rubber side of it, obviously, and they've agreed that they will be my waste stream for years to come because, interestingly enough, the tires in Nova Scotia, there's sometimes more supply than demand. We're doing a pretty good job recycling, except for ridiculous things like burning them at Lafarge and that kind of stuff like that. But Michelin itself, they have 3 plants in Nova Scotia, so they have a waste stream on their own, and they're going to supply it from there. But they're helping with the actual development of the CAD and the prototype because they have X amount of volunteer hours they put towards community initiatives. It's really cool. Yeah, they've been amazing support.
So do you get the ground up tires or do you get an actual tire?
That's what we're trying to figure out because I to actually buy the thing that like cryogenically removes all the material to make the crown rubber is pretty expensive. But they have partnerships with a group in New Brunswick that does make crown rubber, as well as they have other waste streams like carbon black and other things like that that come from the tire that could be used in the process as well. We just need to figure out what has the best traction.
Yeah, just to confuse things. A lot of news lately about plastics. China's not accepting plastics. Any
Well, the thing is, like,
potential-
I will take anything to put in my ramp and make it work. Yeah, I'll take it all. So
Big
with-
Mom's good, but
yeah, exactly. With Denver, Nova Scotia, I went to, they had a really cool, I don't know what the name of it was, kind of like a symposium where they brought together all the large manufacturer recycling organizations from Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada, but as well as large organizations throughout, like Crown Royal, they make the little plates that are made recycled. I don't know, they're a Canadian company, it might be those ones, as well as this great group that recycles electronics or paint and that kind of stuff. But it was big conversations around the fact that like most of those recycled products were ever being shipped to China, and it's not going to happen anymore. So we need to start thinking about where this is going and what we're going to do with all this recycled waste. Yeah. We're also like in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm so excited, but Michelin did this cool thing with Yosemite National Park out of the States, where they were doing a bit of a trail system improvement, and they mixed rubber with walnuts, like old walnut shells that would just be waste to kind of increase the traction and stuff like that. And so in my mind, like, we could use lobster shells or all these things, and we'll see what happens.
What about weight limitations for people carrying it around?
So right now, with the very rough estimates that I have right now, it's about 50 pounds, so when it breaks in half, it's 25 each. But talking to people that are in chairs or do need access, they talk about that. It's difficult to lug it out. They definitely can't do it on their own. So we're trying to find the most lightweight materials we can use, such as aluminum for the frame and that kind of stuff like that. And from there, we'll see what happens. But it's interesting talking to people that are experiencing accessibility, and they say that the biggest issue are those one-step lips into businesses, or 1 to 3 is usually the majority. So maybe we will start off with just one that covers up just one step to allow easy access for downtown businesses which are looking for other town access.
What's the, like the weight limit from the other side? So is it designed to handle like a larger
Yeah,
person? or
so
is it
there
a-
are some large electric chairs that
Mhm.
can weigh
Yeah,
a large amount of, again, since we're in the research phase, we don't really know yet, but usually they say, like in my competitor analysis, these ramps cover, can support about, like 800 pounds would be,
okay.
yeah.
That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm currently experiencing an issue similar to this firsthand with a family member, so if this was like available now, here's my money, take it. Yeah, no, it's a really cool idea. What is like the cost looking like for each one with the recycled
Yeah.
rubber and everything?
So with, again, just rough numbers that have changed since I last did it, but
Mhm.
that's what I had. For a ramp that would cover up to 5 steps, which is really large, it would be $700, which is a median price point kind of compared to.
And that's not too terrible, and I mean, like, if it was somebody who had a permanent disability, it wouldn't be too much to keep it around at that price, but also you can look in like home care options. as
Exactly,
well.
like through
That's-
pharmacies and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
people can have temporary mobility issues and maybe it's just a hip replacement, but for a while they need
Mhm.
that extra access, and so
Yeah, definitely.
either that's just for a period of time or
Mhm.
Have you looked into selling to bus companies and, because I know that larger cities have buses that lower.
well, that's kind of built into the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. So I'm kind of just sticking with the door for now.
Well, but some of them don't have ramps.
Mhm.
Because- So that would be something.
Yeah, and there's a couple other avenues people are always throwing at me, like, one that I really like, stroller, people carrying a lot of things, people with strollers, businesses trying to get deliveries, they need access.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was really funny, but cool, one person brought up, well, what about like pets? Because they were talking about their dogs getting in and out of their vans, not like their pets are pets, so they need something to go up. I'll do it, yeah.
Never say no.
Exactly.
You want to buy one.
She came up with a name, it was Ramp Paws.
Or grandparents.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks, Rebecca, that was great.